Morning, Deputy. Can you hear me?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Judge.
All right. All right. If you're ready to go, I'm ready to get started.
We are ready, sir.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 11 o'clock this morning. This is first appearance court here in Clayton County in the Magistrate Court. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a couple of things I want to talk to you about here this morning. So if you would just please give me about a moment of your time before we get started. First and foremost, please let me advise you that you are here this morning because you are alleged to have committed a crime, and it is my job to advise you of what you've been charged with, to set bail, and to advise you of what your next court date is going to be, which is called your preliminary hearing. Let me reiterate, I am not here, or emphasize, to try your case. What that means is, as I call each of you one by one to discuss your bail and your next court date, please remember, do not discuss with me your case itself, whether or not you are guilty or not, any facts of your case. This is being live streamed and recorded. There are people around you, both officers and other individuals, who may become witnesses if you decide to do so. So if we can, let's keep it to the bail, your special conditions, and your preliminary hearing. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, that during this proceedings, each of you has the right to a presumption of innocence until you are proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to an indictment by the grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called to testify against you, and the right to compel the attendance of witnesses in your own behalf by subpoena. You have the right to testify and offer other evidence in your own defense, should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. And then lastly, you have the right to an attorney to represent you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, some of you will be allowed to post what is called an unrestricted bond for your release from jail pending prosecution. And you can do so either by cash, commercial, or property. Now, if you post a cash bond, either yourself or someone will need to bring up to the jail, to the sheriff's office, the total amount of your bond. If you do it by commercial, that's through a bonding company, then you'll be required to pay either 10 to 15% of the total bond amount that I'm going to give you this morning. And so as an example, if there is someone here charged with loitering, and I tell you that your bond is $5,000, then to use a commercial bonding company, you would be charged anywhere from $200 to $350. That is not refundable, and then the bonding company will assist you. And then finally, there's a property bond, which means that either you or someone that you know may bring up to the sheriff's office a deed to a piece of property that they own that has 3 times the worth of your bond. So again, if your bond is $5,000, someone will need to bring a deed that has equity of at least $15,000. And then you would give that to the sheriff's office, and they will hold on to it until your case is closed. Now, in addition to bond, some of you, I will identify that you have special conditions on your bond should you be released. What that means is there are some of you who are alleged to have been on property that you weren't supposed to be. There are some of you who are alleged to have assaulted people that you weren't obviously supposed to. If I tell you that you have a special condition, which is to stay away from that person, that means do not speak to them, do not call them by phone, do not email, do not text, do not send messages through a third person, because you can result in additional felony charges against you. If I tell you not to go onto a piece of property, that means don't. Again, because it can result in up to felony charges. Now, if there are family members who are on your special condition bond, that also means that that family member cannot come up to the jail and post that bond for you. Now, there are also some of you who are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled for you before a Superior Court judge, and you will be informed of that date moving forward. If there are any of you who are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set a bond for you. Your bond can be reconsidered after your probation officer has an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for your violation, usually during your preliminary hearing. So what is a preliminary hearing? The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained until your time comes to go to court. For those of you who are charged with misdemeanors, I'm going to give you an option. you're going to have the option to waive that preliminary hearing or to have it. If you want to waive it, it just means that your charges will move a little quicker and it'll go up to state court. If you choose to have that hearing, you'll get another date here. And then that's where the police officer will have to show up and he'll have to show the court the evidence that he has against you. Now, if you do ultimately post your bond, your preliminary hearing, whether you're charged with a felony or misdemeanor, will be waived and your case will move, as I said, directly toward whether it's state court or superior court. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start the first appearance called the calendar this morning. And we're going to start with the women first.
Hey, Judge.
Yes.
You have not sworn them in.
I'm sorry?
You've not sworn them in. You have to swear them in.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry. If everyone would please raise their right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Deputy.
You're welcome to.
First up, if I could have, I believe this is Miss Leandra Davey. Are you Miss Davey?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good morning, Miss Davey.
Morning.
Ms. Davey, you are charged with one count of this appears to be simple battery. Your bond is in the amount of $2,500. Ms. Davey, do you think you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you do have a special condition on your bond, and that's to stay away from the alleged victim, Mr. Demetric Watson. Also to stay away from the address of 6459 Highway 42 in Riverdale. If that's where you live, Ms. Davey, please, once you do make your bond, advise the sheriff's office and they will escort you down there so that you can get some items up and until such time as your bond is altered or as your case is closed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, I understand that you're not working, ma'am, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney for the time being, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, you are charged with a misdemeanor, ma'am, so would you like to have your preliminary hearing or waive it?
I'll have it.
Okay, so your preliminary hearing, ma'am, is going to be April 25th of 2023, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's going to be April 25th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and you're going to have that via Zoom. So after you get off here, you're going to have some documents that you'll have to sign, and then, as I said, you'll have the opportunity to make bond if you can. Do you have any other questions for me, ma'am?
When I get bonded out, will I have that paperwork, my date?
So remember what I said, if you in fact do make your bond, you'll have to check out, keep in touch with the last known address that you gave the people here at the jail, because that's where your next court date's gonna happen. Because remember, you'll be waiving your bond if in fact you do make it. Excuse me, you'll be waiving your preliminary hearing if in fact you do make your bond.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, any other questions I can answer for you, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Next up, I have Julie Guerriere. And how do you pronounce your last name, ma'am?
It's Guerriere.
Guerriere. Okay, Ms. Guerriere, as I'm sure you know, both you as well as the other party in this, Mr. Joriel Apollon, were arrested on this. He does, of course, have a court date here this morning as well. I have reviewed the warrant before me, Ms. Guerriere, and I am, for the purposes of today only, dismissing that warrant. So you will be released here today. Now, let me say this to you and warn you, ma'am. Simply because I'm dismissing it today does not mean that it may go away. There were some deficiencies in the way that this warrant was drafted that may be corrected. And if it is corrected in a timely fashion, ma'am, you could be rearrested. But as of today, based on the information I have before me, I am dismissing your case, okay?
Thank God. Thank you.
So what I strongly advise you, ma'am, is to, think long and hard about what may or may not have happened. I want to advise you, since you're here, ma'am, that Mr. Apollon does have a no contact in place. So when he comes up and I speak to him, I am going to advise him that he has to stay away from you and that address. Do you understand that?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so I would likewise tell you to do the same until this is cleared up, okay?
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. Well, that's all I have. Unless you have questions, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I have Miss Laura Monique Hanson. Good morning, Miss Hanson.
Good morning.
Hanson, you're charged with one count of battery in the amount in the bond in the amount of $5,000. One count of simple assault. Your bond on that is $10,000 for a total bond of $15,000. You have a stay away that I'm putting into place from the other party who stays in that home, Kayla Plaskett. You're also not to return to 221 Upper Riverdale Road. Now, it appears that you all stay at that address together. I'm not putting that stay away in place for Ms. Plaskett so she can return to that address, Ms. Hanson, but you will not be able to.
Hold up now.
Hold on, you'll have an opportunity, but you will not be able to. However, if you do have items there, Ms. Hanson, and you make your bond, upon your being released, you will need the sheriff's office to escort you to pick up any items that belong to you. Now, I know you had something you wanted to add. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to add that my name is on the lease there.
Okay.
Her name is not on the lease there. I live there.
Okay.
The apartment complex has my name and my two kids' name listed as residents in that apartment. She was
Okay.
living there. So if anybody needs to be stay away, it needs to be her. And I can go home to where I live.
Well, I will tell you, Ms. Hanson, at this point, I've made that decision. Unless Ms. Plaskett was to come up here and otherwise say, that she's willing to allow you to stay and she to go, at this point, that's what's going to be in place, okay? Because I had to choose at this point for one of you all to stay and one to go. And so based on what I have, the information before me, as of right now, that is my decision. You were charged with 2 misdemeanors, Ms. Hanson. So you have the right to have your preliminary hearing or you have the right to waive it. What would you like to do, ma'am?
I would like to get the bond, so I guess I would waive it, or I don't know. I want to get my bond so I could get out of here.
Okay, so you're going to waive your preliminary hearing, so you'll have some documentation there to sign. Based on the information you provided, so you're working, earning about $2,000, and you have 2 children. Is that correct?
Correct.
So I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney this morning that will be able to assist you on your case. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right, ma'am. Other than that, do you have any other questions for me?
No.
Okay, ma'am. So $15,000 bond. You know those special conditions I advised you. You've advised you wanted to waive your hearing. And I have appointed a court-appointed attorney for you this morning, Ms. Hanson. That's all I have, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Next up, I have Mahogany Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Ms. Jackson.
Hello.
Ms. Jackson, you are charged with 1 count of driving under the influence. Your bond amount is $4,000. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, according to the information you provided, you're currently working. How much are you making per month?
About 4,000.
Okay. So you do not qualify for a court-appointed attorney, so you will have to hire your own. Now, as far as your preliminary hearing, ma'am, would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
I want to go home.
Okay, so right now your options are, I'm talking about your hearing. So you'll be dealing with your bond then. But as far as your preliminary hearing, do you want to have your hearing or waive it?
I'm confused. I'm not being through it.
No problem. So let's talk it through. So you've been charged with DUI. Right now, your bond is $4,000 to get out. And, while you're in, if you don't make that bond, you have a right to what's called a preliminary hearing. And that's where the police will come. They'll have to come to court and they'll have to provide evidence of why they believe you are should have been charged with DUI. So you have the right to have that hearing and make them show the judge what evidence they have. Okay.
Okay.
If you choose to have that hearing will be later this month. And if you don't make bond, you'll be escorted via Zoom to that hearing. If you make your bond, that hearing will be waived and you'll get your next court date in the mail.
Okay.
Now, if you say you want to waive that hearing, then your case goes straight to the solicitor and then they'll decide whether to charge you. So that, in a sense, makes your case move a little faster if you decide to do that. But you got 2 choices now. You can either waive or set the date for the hearing. It's up to you.
I want to have a hearing.
Okay. All right, ma'am. So your hearing will be April 25th of 2023. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom here in Clayton County. And again, remember, ma'am, if in fact you do make your bond, keep in touch with the sheriff's office, watch your mail, because that's how you'll get your next court date, okay?
Okay,
All right, ma'am. Any questions I can answer for you?
no, sir.
All right, you take care of yourself, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next up, I have, are you Miss Brittany Norwood?
Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second here, Miss Norwood. All right, Miss Norwood, you're charged with giving a false name to a law enforcement officer. Now, Miss Norwood, from the information that I have here, I'm not authorized to grant you bond this morning. It does look like you're on felony probation out of Clayton County since 2017. And so you're on a no bond status as of now. It says here that you are not working right now. Is that correct?
Answer the question, ma'am. Yes or no?
No, I'm not.
Is that correct, ma'am? You're not working?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so I am going to appoint you a court-appointed attorney here this morning. You're charged with a misdemeanor, so you have a right to your hearing, or you can waive your preliminary hearing. What would you like to do this morning?
Wait a minute.
Okay, you want to waive your hearing? Oh, man. All right, Miss Norwood, so you will have some documentation that you'll have to sign today in regards to your desire to waive your hearing. I believe that's all I have. Good luck to you, man.
Go ahead and sign the documentation. Please go ahead, ma'am. Go to the deputy and sign the paper.
And ma'am, are you Miss Plaskett?
Yes, I am.
All right, Miss Plaskett, you are charged with 1 count of battery. Your bond is in the amount of $3,500. You are, as a stay away provision, I don't know if you heard me, but you and Miss Hanson are not to have contact with one another. So you're to stay away from Miss Hanson. Now, I advised Miss Hanson, based on what I reviewed, that I was giving you the right to the property at this point. So that means that Miss Hanson is not allowed back on the property unless you wanted to change that.
Yes, I want to change that. I was moving out at the time.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do then, give me 1 second here, is I'm going to go ahead and alter that, and then I'll add, because she advised that she lived there.
Yes,
Her name was on the lease, but I needed to hear it from you.
yes, her name is on the lease. I actually got an apartment somewhere else, so I was actually moving out yesterday when everything happened.
Okay, and let's not go too far into that, okay?
That's fine.
So now, what's gonna happen, Ms. Plaskett, is I'm changing your bond, and it's gonna say, of course, that you're not to have any contact with Ms. Hanson,
That's fine.
and that you are not to return to that 221 Upper Riverdale Road address.
That's
Now,
fine.
if you need to return there to get items, since you may not have completely moved out just yet,
Mhm.
what you'll need to do is contact the sheriff's office and let them know, and then they will assist you and escort you there to get any items that you need, okay?
Okay.
And Ms. Plaskett, I understand that you are working, you're earning about $2,500 a month.
Yes,
Do you think you'll be able to make your bond of $3,500?
not for 35. I may be able to make it for something a little less.
Okay, so right now I am gonna go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney. Based on what you said. Do you, as far as your preliminary hearing, do you want to waive your hearing or have you?
Now, as far as waiving that, I'm not, I don't know anything about this, so waiving it, what does that mean?
Sure, I'll go. So as I just told one of the ladies before you, so here's what this means. So you've been alleged to have committed a crime.
Mhm.
And the officer, if you decide you want to have this preliminary hearing, it'll be scheduled later this month. And he'll have to come to court and show the judge what evidence he has against you as to why he believes you should have been arrested. If he doesn't provide enough, it can be dismissed. The alternative is you waive that hearing. And by waiving it, that means there'll be no hearing. It goes straight to state court, where the state court solicitor, the prosecutor, will review it and decide themselves whether they will go forward or not. Now, if you make your bond and you get out, that hearing is automatically waived, and so you never even have it anyway. So that's kind of your options. You can waive it and don't have it, or if you make your bond, you're not going to have it at all, or you can decide that we can schedule that date. And if you don't make your bond, then you'll have that preliminary hearing later this month.
Waive it. I'll do the preliminary hearing.
Okay, so you do, I want to confirm, you do want to have the preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right, so Ms. Plaskett, I have appointed you an attorney this morning. You are aware of your bond conditions. You decided that you do want to in fact have your preliminary hearing. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. I believe that's all I have for you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And finally, I have Ms. Camille Pledger. Are you Ms. Pledger?
Yes.
Ms. Pledger, you're charged with what, excuse me, one count of theft by receipt of stolen property. I have reviewed the information that was before me, Ms. Pledger, as it relates to the allegation that you knew or should have known this vehicle was stolen. As I understand it, you were in the passenger seat. So as of today, based on the evidence I have, Ms. Pledger, I am going to dismiss your case. Doesn't mean that it won't be reviewed again and that someone else, the solicitor, may make an ultimate decision to move forward on your case. But as of today, ma'am, your case will be dismissed and you will be released later today.
Look over there, go to the judge.
Okay, do you have any questions, Ms. Pledger?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Deputy, do we have Miss Sandy Lopez?
Yes, Judge. She needs an interpreter.
Okay, that's the one with the interpreter. Okay, great. And then can we bring Miss Laura Hanson back up, please?
Yes,
She was a taller female.
yes, Judge. Ms. Lopez, have a seat over there. Okay, let's have a seat.
So we'll do Miss Lopez at the end, so you don't have to bring her this very minute.
I'm clear, Judge. Come on, man. She's right here, Judge.
Miss Hanson?
Yes, sir.
So I spoke with Miss Plaskett this morning, and Miss Plaskett has confirmed your statement as it relates to that address, okay?
Mhm.
And so I just want to confirm what's going to change. So your bond will still be the 15,000, 5,000 on battery, 10,000 on the simple assault. You will still have the no contact in place with Miss Plaskett. However, what is going to be removed from your bond order is the stay away provision from that address of 221 Upper Riverdale Road. So you will be allowed to return either when you're, if in fact you make bond before your case closes. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So while you're on video now, I am scratching through that bond provision, requiring that, and the only thing that will remain is that you are to have no contact with her. Do you understand, Ms. Hanson?
100%, sir.
All right, Ms. Hanson, do you have any other questions of me in regards to that?
No, sir.
All right, ma'am, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Judge, now we're about to bring the mails out.
Yes, sir.
Anderson,
Anderson, come on.
Apollon, Brown.
All right.
Are you Mr. Anderson?
How you doing?
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Mr. Anderson, you're charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property and one count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. As it relates to the theft by receiving stolen property, your bond is in the amount of $4,000. As to the possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, your bond amount is $8,000 for a total bond of $12,000. Do you understand that?
Sir.
Now, according to
Oh,
the information I have here, says that you are working, but you're earning about $1,400 a month. So I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed attorney this morning. The $12,000 bond, do you believe you'll be able to make your bond, sir?
yes, sir. So if you go to a bonding company, how much it's gonna be?
At 12, you're probably looking at about
I love you.
between $1,200 and $1,500.
All right.
All right, sir. Any other questions you have for me?
No, sir.
All right, well, that's all I have for you, sir. Good luck to you.
Come back here. Come back here.
Next up, I have Jarrell Apollon. Mr. Apollon. Now, Mr. Apollon, I want to tell you, as I told Ms. Guerrero. Now, the information that was provided by Ms. Guerrero's case first was insufficient at this point. And so based on that, sir, I dismissed her case. I want to tell you that I've looked at yours as well, and it was also insufficient for some legal reason. Now, as a result of that, your case is also being dismissed. But I want to caution you, as I did Ms. Guerrero. Sir, whether you all living together or not, it's not my business. I don't want to know for legal reasons. However, what I do want to tell you is caution you both. If there is something going on in that household, one of you all needs to make the decision to leave. Because next time you may not be so fortunate, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, as I also told Ms. Guerrero, while your case is being dismissed today, it doesn't mean it can't come back. Ultimately, the solicitor's office does have the opportunity to review these cases. They have the opportunity to get more evidence, and they may decide to charge you again. If they do so, please be on the lookout. You will receive it, or they may come and arrest you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any other questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, sir. Well, that's all I have for now. You take care of yourself. Be safe and good luck to you. Next up, I have Mr. Quintavious Brown. Are you Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of theft by receipt of stolen property, and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. As to the aggravated assault, your bond amount is $50,000. As to the theft, your bond amount is $10,000. And as to the possession of a firearm, your bond amount is $10,000 as well, for a total of $70,000. Sir, do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes. What's 75,000? What's that? If I pay through the bonding company, how much is that?
Through a bonding company, you're probably looking at about $8,500 total.
8,500.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What if I decide to put up property?
Will be 3 times as much that bond, so you're probably looking at about $25,000 that you would need to have.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So as of today, however, you said that you do believe you'll be able to make that bond. Is that correct?
Yes, not probably right away, but I probably.
But at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second here, sir. I'm just getting all of this together for you. Mr. Brown. Now, Mr. Brown, based on the information that you provided here, well, let me ask you this, Mr. Brown. It says you're working. What kind of work are you doing?
Just warehouse.
Okay, about how much do you earn a month?
Say about 1,600.
Okay. So based on that, I am going to appoint you a court-appointed attorney this morning. Okay. Now, your next court date, sir, because you are charged with felonies, is going to be your preliminary hearing, and that's going to be April 26th of 2023, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me?
No question.
All right, sir. Good luck to you. Next up, I believe it's Katori Davis. Are you Mr. Davis?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Doing all right.
I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Now, Mr. Davis, you were charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana over an ounce, less than an ounce, and also a violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Mr. Davis, based on my review of your criminal history, you're currently on probation out of Clayton Superior Court, felony probation. And as a result of that, I am not permitted to give you bond this morning. So your bond has been denied. I'm showing here that you are working. How much do you earn per week? Excuse me, per month, sir?
I work more with detail, so it really based off of what I do every day.
Okay, so it kind of fluctuates.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on that, I am gonna go ahead and appoint a court-appointed attorney for you this morning. And because you are charged with felony, sir, your next court date is going to be April 26th of 2023, okay?
How do I go about probation? When is that?
In terms of like how you'll deal with that, you mean?
Yeah, with a bond and all that.
So what's gonna happen is when you get to that preliminary hearing, your probation officer, either before that hearing or by the time of that hearing, is gonna contact you. And they're gonna let you know whether or not they're gonna pursue a warrant for your violation. If they are gonna pursue a warrant, then they're gonna set up a date. You're gonna go before the Clayton Superior Court and you're gonna deal with the warrant and how they wanna proceed. And they're gonna, try to resolve whether they're gonna revoke any more of your bond or any more of the time that you're on probation for. Once that happens, then you'll deal with your bond. So you'll remain in a no bond up until that time, and then once that happens, then you'll be granted a bond.
All right, bro.
So you got to deal with that first, okay?
All right.
All right. Any other questions I can answer for you?
No, that's it, Judge. Come on, sir.
Next up, I believe is Mr. Gaines. Are you Mr. Gaines?
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Gaines. So, Mr. Gaines, you are charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, and your bond is in the amount of $2,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh, excuse me, not 2,500. I meant to say 1,500. Excuse me, I apologize. It's going to be $1,500. And are you working right now, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, so I am going to appoint a court-appointed attorney for you. You're also going to have a special condition, sir, and that means that you're going to have to stay away from the address where this is alleged to have occurred, 2553 Brookgate Crossing. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so $1,500 bond. You did say you'll be able to make bond. And then lastly, you want a court-appointed attorney. Now, you are entitled to a preliminary hearing or to waive that hearing because you're charged with a misdemeanor. How would you like to proceed, sir?
Set.
Okay, so if you want to set that hearing, we're going to set it for April 25th of 2023. It's going to be at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. So if you make your bond, sir, that hearing is going to be automatically waived, okay? But if you don't make your bond, then that's when your next court date will be, okay?
All right.
If you make your bond, let me caution you, please be on the lookout for mail as it relates to when your next court date will be, because you won't have a date until and if they officially charge you for this crime, okay?
Yes, sir.
If you don't make it, then that's when you'll come back to court, April 25th of 2023, okay?
If I don't make bond, correct?
Yes, if you don't make it, then that's your next court day.
Yes,
Any
sir.
other questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir. Next up, I believe this is Nora Harris. And what's your name, sir?
Lee Johnson.
If I could have Mr. Harris first, I think we're out of order.
Oh, yeah.
Nora Harris.
Yeah, all right, Judge. Tom.
If not, okay, if we got a hold on him, I'll take Malik while he's there. Mr. Johnson, if you want to come on up while you're there.
All right, that's fine.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you are charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and you were also charged with loitering and prowling. Now, based on the information that I was provided, Mr. Johnson, this morning, I have dismissed the loitering and prowling charge, so you're only facing the possession of less than an ounce. The possession of less than an ounce carries a bond amount here of $1,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make your bond, sir?
If I can pay with my card.
Okay, which I do believe you can. Let me ask you this. Okay, so based on the information you provided, you will have to hire your own court-appointed attorney if in fact you do ultimately need one. And then the last question, because you are charged with misdemeanors, you have the right to either have a preliminary hearing or waive that hearing if you don't make your bond. Do you want to have it or waive it?
I want to have it.
Okay, so if you don't make your bond, your next court date is going to be April 25th of 2023 at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. And that's going to be your preliminary hearing. If in fact that you do make your bond, please keep an eye out on the last known address that you gave the sheriff's office, because that's where your new court date is going to be sent, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Will I be able to, I can't post a bond for myself through a bonding company?
You can post. I don't know if you can use a bonding company yourself. I believe you can, but I would ask the sheriff's office just to confirm. All right, good luck to you. And are you Mr. Harris?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Johnson?
I'm doing well, sir. Mr. Harris, you were charged with 1 count of sexual battery and 1 count of obstruction of an officer. The sexual battery allegation has a bond of $50,000. The obstruction of an officer has a bond of $4,000 for a total bond of $54,000.
I thought the session battle misdemeanor.
It is, sir. It is. You have special conditions. The first is to stay away from Adericol hammeter. Hold on, sir. I'm gonna give you opportunity. The address, you also to stay away from the address of 6154 Fieldcrest Drive. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you are charged with misdemeanors here,
my bad, man.
hold on 1 second, Mr. Harris. Let me look at. Okay. Yeah. Now, because you are charged with misdemeanors here, Mr. Harris, you do have the right to either have your hearing or waive your preliminary hearing. Actually, I apologize, Mr. Harris. This is a felony. That obstruction is a felony. So you're charged with a sexual battery as a misdemeanor and obstruction as a felony. So you're going to have your preliminary hearing. So your next court date is going to be April 26th of 2023. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So hold on. Let me make sure you're clear with what I got. Your bond is $54,000. You're to stay away from Adericol hammeter. You're to stay away from this address, 6154 Fieldcrest Drive. And your next court date is going to be April 26th of 2023 at 8:30 a.m. Now, because of the information you provided to me this morning, I am going to appoint you a court-appointed attorney who's going to assist you on your case. Now, I know you have some questions, but before you ask me anything, sir, please be advised, you do not want to discuss your case with me. I am recording. All right, what would you like to discuss?
I came here when I had got out. I came here when I got out, and I read up on, cause the black dude upstairs, he was teaching me about the obstruction. On the paper, it said obstruction of a firefighter.
You're talking about the, hold on. You're talking about the elements of your case. I cannot get into detail about that. I can't get into detail about that.
Well, I thought you were the judge. You were gonna say, well, he ain't had a fire charge, so we're gonna admit that.
Well, what I have right now, what I have before me in the warrant, there's enough to go forward. Now that may change down the road, but right now they've got enough to pursue it. Okay.
Yeah, in the misdemeanor, he said he do OR bond.
No, sir. Your bond is $50,000. No, sir. Good luck to you, sir.
Y'all be good, y'all.
Okay. Next up, I have Mr. Daquan Jones.
I just got shot in Alabama. Y'all ain't do this though. In the Alabama people.
Georgia. Have a seat. Excuse me, Your Honor.
No problem.
They gotta get in on the side.
Go ahead, have a seat. You all right? Go ahead, have a seat.
I ain't trying to be slow. I wish I could walk faster. And you got to pull me. You know what I'm saying? You got to pull me. Oh man, I don't think so. I got to. Trying to be smart. I wish I could move fast.
What is he doing?
Hold on, man.
Yeah, I want to have it bring you up.
I can't see it on my left side.
Good morning.
Good camera.
Okay.
Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. You gotta go backward, man. Come on, man. You gotta go backward. Sir, just go backward.
Not like this.
All right, are you Mr. Jones?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir.
Go backward.
Mr. Jones, you're charged with one count of obstruction of an officer and one count of no license. Your obstruction charge carries a bond of $2,000 and the no license a bond of $1,000 for a total bond of $3,000. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Can you tell me how much would that be if I go through one of the companies?
About $400 or $500.
Okay,
Now, based on the information you provided, sir, I am going to appoint you a court-appointed attorney to assist you on your case. Now, you are charged with misdemeanors, which means, excuse me, you have the right to waive your preliminary hearing or to have it. How would you like to proceed?
I'd like to have it, Your Honor.
Okay, so if you don't make your bond, your next court date is going to be April 25th of 2023, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. If you do make your bond, sir, please be advised that you'll need to keep up with your mail so that they'll send you in the mail what your next court date will be, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
All right.
Come on, sir.
Next up, I have, I believe it's Devin McLeod.
Yes, sir.
All right, give me 1 second, Mr. McLeod. And you're Mr. McLeod, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McLeod, you are charged with one count of criminal trespass, and your bond amount is, excuse me, is going to be $3,500. You're also going to have a stay away provision, which it means that if and when you make your bond, that you are to stay away from the address of 2553, and that's going to be Brookgate Crossing. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, sir. Well, if that's all I have for you, sir, and if you don't have any questions for me, it looks like the information that you provided that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. So I am going to go ahead and appoint you an attorney this morning. Now, because you are only charged with misdemeanors, you have the right to either waive your hearing or have your hearing. How would you like to proceed?
I'd like to set the hearing.
You'd like to have it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you don't make your bond, that court date's going to be April 25th of 2023 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom, okay?
All right.
Now, if you do in fact make your bond, sir, be careful because your court date's going to be sent to that last known address. So you want to keep up with your mail. If your address changes, you want to let the jail know so that they're aware where to send, let the jail know, but also let the courts know where to send your court notice, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Next up, I have Darrence Cortez Morgan. Good morning, Mr. Morgan.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Morgan, you're charged with one count of obstruction of an officer for a bond amount of $2,000, one count of reckless conduct for a bond amount of $2,500, and possession of a firearm and discharging it near a highway for a bond amount of $10,000. Your total bond is $14,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
I'm pretty sure I probably can. Are those misdemeanors or felony?
Misdemeanor, sir. According to the information you provided, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, so I am going to appoint you an attorney here this morning. Now, you are charged with misdemeanors, so you have the right to either have your preliminary hearing or to waive it. How would you like to proceed?
I want to have it.
All right, sir. So your preliminary hearing is going to be set for 4/25 of 2023. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom here in the Clayton County Courthouse. So if you make your bond, you will automatically waive it. If you don't, it'll be at 8:30 a.m. If you do, in fact, make your bond, Mr. Morgan, like I just told the gentleman before you, please be careful. Be on the lookout for your mail because that's where your next court date notice will be sent to you from the courts. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. How much is it again, sir?
$14,500. All right. Any other questions for me?
That'll be all.
No? All right. Well, good luck to you, sir. Next up, I have Mr. Kendarion Muse. Are you Mr. Muse?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Muse, you are charged with 1 count of robbery, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of felony murder, and 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. Now, based on the allegations here against you, Mr. Muse, I am not legally permitted here this morning to grant you any sort of a bond as it relates to the murder charge. As it relates to the remaining charges, I have denied your bond, which means you're on a no bond status as of this morning. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, I reviewed your court-appointed attorney information. You do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, so I have gone ahead and assigned you a court-appointed attorney. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your next court date, sir, is going to be April 26th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's going to be April 26th at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Let's go.
Next up, I have Nathaniel Pace. Are you Mr. Pace?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Pace, you're charged with improper lane change, too fast for conditions, driving under the influence, and open container violation. As it relates to the improper lane change, your bond amount is $500. The too fast for conditions, $500. The DUI, $4,000, and the open container also carries a bond amount of $500. So your total bond amount is $5,500. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information you provided to me, you do not qualify for a court appointed. You're going to have to hire your own attorney. Do you believe you'll be able to make this $5,500 bond?
Yes, sir.
And then after your preliminary hearing, you're charged with misdemeanor, so you have the right to have it or waive it. How would you like to proceed?
I like to keep it set.
All right, it's going to be set for April 25th of 2023, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. So if you make your bond, remember, please keep in touch with your mail because your next court date, will be sent according to the address that the court and the sheriff's office has on file. If you don't make your bond, then of course you don't waive your hearing, and your hearing will happen on the 25th. All right?
All right.
Any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir. Next up, I have William Ransom. Good morning, Mr. Ransom.
Morning.
Mr. Ransom, you are charged with 1 count of DUI, 1 count of failure to obey an officer. Based on the information I have, Mr. Ransom, the DUI is being dismissed today. Now, I want to caution you, Mr. Ransom, that does not mean that you may not face this charge down the road. But as of today, the information I have before me is not sufficient for this charge to remain. So the only remaining charge keeping you in hold, unless you have holds there somewhere else, is this failure to obey officer. That bond amount is $500. Do you believe you'll be able to make that bond?
Yes, sir.
Based on the information you provided to me, sir, you do not qualify for a court appointed, so you'll have to hire your own. If you don't make your bond, do you want to have your hearing or waive your hearing?
Yeah, have the hearing.
All right, so if you don't make that bond, sir, your next court date is going to be April 25th of 2023. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. If you make that bond, remember, please watch the mail because that's where your next court date is going to be sent. The address that you gave the courts and the address that you gave the sheriff's office. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Okay.
Next up, I have Gary, I believe it's Riddle.
Right out.
Is that how you pronounce it? Oh, right out? Okay.
There's one guy that will go before you.
Give me 1 second here, sir. All right, sir, you are charged with 1 count of improper lane change and also 1 count of driving under the influence. Your bond amount for the improper lane change is $500 and for the DUI is $4,000 for a total bond of $4,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, sir. How much would that be with the Bales, mama?
About $450, between $450 and $600.
Okay, yes.
Now, based on the information you provided to me, you do not qualify for a court appointed, so you will have to hire your own attorney. You're charged with misdemeanor, so you have the right to have your preliminary or waive it. What would you like to do?
I will keep it.
All right, so your next court date, if you don't make your bond, is going to be April 25th of 2023, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Rideout.
Thank
Next up, I have John Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Are you Mr. Thompson?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thompson, you're charged with 2 counts of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of drug-related objects, and bicycling on essentially on the side of the road. The first count of BGCSA carries a bond of $3,500. The second, $1,500. The drug-related objects, $500. And then as to the bicycle violation, I've dismissed that. So your total bond today is $5,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
I'm not sure, sir.
Right. As to the information you provided, sir, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. So I have appointed you one. As to your next court date, because you're charged with a felony, your next court date is going to be April 26th of 2023, and that's going to happen at 8:30 a.m. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
That's going to be your preliminary hearing. If you don't have any other questions for me, sir, that's all I have. Good luck to you.
Have a great day.
Next up, I have Mr. Jonathan Bales. Are you Mr. Bales?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bales, you're charged with 1 count of DUI, 1 count of open container, and 1 count of hit and run leaving the scene. For the DUI, your bond is $5,000. For the hit and run, your bond is $5,000. For the open container, your bond is $500 for a total bond of $10,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
Yeah,
Is that yes?
my apologies. Yes, sir.
Based on the information you provided, I see you're working. How much are you earning per month?
Around 3,500, I believe.
Okay. So you do not qualify for an attorney, so you'll have to hire your own. Because you're charged with misdemeanors, you have the right to have your preliminary hearing or waive it. How would you like to proceed?
So he wants to have it.
Have it.
Okay. So your next court date, sir, is going to be April 25th, 2023, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that, sir?
Via Zoom?
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Bales. Next up, I have Clint Walker. Are you Mr. Walker?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Your bond is in the amount of $1,500. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, sir.
All right. Based on the information you provided, sir, if you need an attorney, you'll have to hire your own as you do not qualify. As to your preliminary hearing, because you're charged with a misdemeanor, you have the right to have it or waive it. What would you like to do?
Set the hearing, sir.
All right. Your hearing is going to be April 25th, and that's going to be 2023 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. You have any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir. And so, Deputy, if I understand, we've got these last 2, Cindy Lopez and, well, I guess, is that the only one? I guess just Cindy Lopez that needs the interpreter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you all have a Christopher Gaines?
Games already won.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I did. Okay, so all we've got is Miss Lopez. Give me 1 moment. I'm gonna call the language line. I'll need about just 60 seconds.
All right, Judge, got you.
She is on the line. I have her here. Her name is Miss Cindy Lopez, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Buenos días, eres intérprete en esta llamada.
Okay.
I'm ready for your instructions, ma'am.
Okay. Would you please advise Ms. Lopez, she is charged with 1 count of battery family violence.
I'm sorry, may you repeat?
Yes. Could you please advise Ms. Lopez, she is charged with 1 count of battery family violence.
1 second, please.
Mhm.
I just need to get the correct translation in order to get it accurate. 1 moment. Señora Sinapes, quiero hacerle saber que usted tiene el cargo de, en este momento, un cargo de violencia familiar.
Sí, pero quiero hacer una pregunta al juez.
Yes, but I would like to ask you a question.
Okay. If that question, ma'am, is about your case and your guilt or innocence, please do not ask that this morning. This is just for me to advise you of what you're charged with and what your bond is.
Si esa pregunta, señora, es en relación a que si es inocente o no, no haga esa pregunta esta mañana. Mi único trabajo es hacerle saber acerca de su cargo.
I don't think she heard you, Madam Interpreter. Can you say that one more time?
Yes, of course. Señora, si esa pregunta es información o de si es culpable o inocente, le recomiendo no hacer esa pregunta esta mañana. Mi único trabajo es hacerle dar a informar la información de su cargo.
Okay, she said okay. Would you please advise Ms. Lopez her bond is $3,500? Yes.
You put bound?
Bond. Her bond amount is $3,500.
Su cantidad obligada es $3,500.
Okay. She is also to stay away from Mr. Jamie Maldonado and also the address of 275 Upper Riverdale Road.
I'm sorry, may you repeat the address?
275 Upper Riverdale Road.
Usted deberá mantenerse alejada del señor Jamie Maldonado y de la dirección 275 Upper River Road.
Now, your next court date, Ms. Lopez, is going to be April 25th of 2023. However, if you are able to bond out, please keep in touch with your mail and the court to find out when your next court date will be, because it will change.
Su próximo día en la corte será el 25 de abril 2023, pero si usted le es posible para su adeudado, pues por favor esté consciente o alerta de su correo, ya que su fecha de corte puede y deberá cambiar.
Casi no se escucha bien. Está como muy pegado y no escucho bien.
She's mentioning she's not hearing well, so I will repeat.
Okay.
Señora López, su próximo día en la corte es el 25 de abril 2023. Si usted está en la posibilidad de pagar su obligado, solo tenga, por favor, esté alerta de su correo, porque le van a mandar la información de su nueva fecha de corte que podrá y deberá cambiar.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Ms. Lopez, do you have any questions for me?
Señora López, ¿tiene usted alguna pregunta para mí?
¿Qué va a pasar con mi bebé?
What's going to happen with my baby?
I really can't speak to that, ma'am. If there's someone that can take care of the child while you're in custody, then I would advise you to use your phone privileges to contact that person. Otherwise, unfortunately, it will go into the custody of the county and the state of Georgia.
No puedo hablarle de esto. Si usted tiene a alguien que pueda cuidarse de él mientras usted se encuentra en custodia, le recomiendo usar sus privilegios de teléfono para llamar a esa persona. De otra manera, el menor se pondrá al cuidado del condado y el estado de Georgia.
¿Me podría repetir la fianza? Y cuando pague la fianza, ¿ya me voy a poder ir o siempre voy a estar aquí?
Can you repeat me the bound? When I pay the bound, can I go or I have to stay here?
Yes, ma'am. If you are able to pay the bond amount, you can be released that same day that you pay it.
Si usted puede pagar la cantidad obligada de la fianza, usted puede irse el mismo día del pago.
Okay. Pero me podría repetir cuánto es. ¿Cuánto es la fianza?
How much it is?
$3,500.
$3,500.
3,500. Okay.
Okay.
Si lo pago hoy me puedo ir.
If I pay today, can I go today?
If you pay today, then you will be released in the next 24 hours by the sheriff until your next court date.
Oh.
Si usted paga hoy, usted va a ser suelta en los próximos 24 horas por el oficial y se le da la fecha de corte.
Ok, ¿me podría repetir la fecha de la corte que tengo? Es el 26 de abril del 2023.
Can you repeat the date of the court I have? Is it April 26th?
Yes, it's April 25th if you don't pay your bond. If you pay the bond, then your next court date will come to you in the mail.
Abril 25.
¿Cómo?
Si usted no paga abril 25, si usted no paga su cantidad obligada. Si usted paga, la fecha nueva de su corte va a llegarle por correo.
Ok. Entonces si pago no tengo corte el 25 de abril. Si no me va a llegar mi corte por correo.
So if I pay, I will not have court on April 25th, but will arrive by mail.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Sí, correcto.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. That's all I have, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Señora, muy buena suerte para usted.
Sí.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Interpreter. Okay. Bye-bye. All right, Deputy. I believe that's all we have for today. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.